All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible stories from World War II. We're talking about a deception so massive, so audacious, that it didn't just trick a few generals, it fooled Adolf Hitler himself. This is the story of a single lie that literally saved D-Day.
So let me ask you this. Do you think one person, with just a lie, could actually change the outcome of the biggest war in history? I mean, really think about it. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, the answer is a resounding yes, and the story behind it is just mind-blowing.
Okay, picture this. It's D-Day, June 6, 1944. The Allies have just stormed the beaches of Normandy, but things are not going well. The foothold they have is tiny, fragile. The whole operation, years of planning, is hanging by a thread. They could be thrown back into the English Channel at any second.
And to make things worse, there's a nightmare scenario unfolding. Two of Germany's toughest Panzer divisions, we're talking elite, heavily armed tank units, are revving their engines, ready to race down from Pas de Calais and just obliterate the Allied beachhead. If they get there, it's game over. But something is about to stop them. And it's not a tank or a plane, it's a message, a single lie.
So who's the mastermind behind this history-altering lie? To understand that, we've got to go back a bit and meet the man himself. And let me tell you, he's probably the most unlikely spy you could ever imagine. A Spanish guy, a former chicken farmer, named Juan Pujol García.
Pujol's journey really starts here. See, he wasn't some kind of James Bond character. He wasn't a soldier, didn't have any training. He was just a regular guy who got caught in the middle of the Spanish Civil War and came out of it absolutely hating extremism of any kind. Fascist, communist, you name it. When he saw Hitler on the rise, he knew he couldn't just stand by. He felt he had to help the British.
So what does he do? He goes to the British and says, "Hey, I want to be a spy for you." And they basically laugh him out of the room. Rejected. But Pujol, he doesn't give up. He comes up with this completely bonkers plan. He thinks, okay, if Britain won't hire me, I'll get Germany to hire me as a spy first, and then I'll use that to prove to the British that I'm for real. This is an absolutely insane, high-stakes gamble.
And this, right here, is where the story goes from wild to completely unbelievable. So now he's officially a German agent. They give him the code name Alaric. His first assignment? Get to Britain and set up a whole network of spies. Just one tiny problem, he can't actually get into Britain. So he does the only logical thing, right? He just makes it all up.
Get this, his secret spy headquarters wasn't some hidden bunker, it was a public library in Lisbon. His tools weren't high-tech gadgets, they were a tourist guidebook, a map of Britain, and a dictionary. From there, he starts sending these detailed reports about a country he has never even set foot in. He invents this whole cast of fake spies and even cooks up a story about a friendly flight attendant who carries his letters for him just to explain why the postmark is from Lisbon, not London. It's brilliant.
But, he's faking it till he makes it, and that's super risky. He almost blew his cover with some pretty funny mistakes. Like, in one report, he confidently states that you can find men in Glasgow who would do anything for a liter of wine. Anyone who knows Scotland knows that's not quite right. It's a whiskey and beer kind of place. A small detail, but a slip-up like that could have been a death sentence.
And yet, somehow, the Germans were eating it up. They totally bought it, and Pujol's imagination was just on fire. He ended up creating a network of 27 fake sub-agents. You had this Venezuelan student up in Glasgow, a German-Swiss guy supposedly watching the docks in Liverpool. I mean, he gave them all backstories, personalities, even fake problems and expenses, all sending back a river of completely made-up intel.
So while all this is happening, over in Britain, MI5 is intercepting all these German messages from their supposed spy, Alaric. And they're scratching their heads, right? The reports are weird. They're detailed but full of these strange little errors. It's pretty clear to them that whoever this guy is, he is definitely not in Britain. Eventually, they connect the dots, track down our man Pujol in Lisbon, and finally bring him on board. They give him a new code name, Garbo. Why? Because he was the greatest actor in the world.
Okay, so now we get to the main event. Garbo is finally in London working with MI5. And his incredible imaginary network of spies, it's about to become the single most important weapon in a massive deception plan called Operation Fortitude. The mission was simple, but huge. Convince Hitler that the D-Day landings were going to happen anywhere but Normandy.
So here was the plan. The real target, as we all know, was Normandy.
The lie, the whole point of Operation Fortitude, was to make the Germans fixate on Pas de Calais. I mean, it made sense, right? It's the shortest distance across the Channel. But to make that lie believable, the Allies needed more than just whispers. They needed an entire phantom army.
And they created one. They called it FUSAG, the First U.S. Army Group. We're talking about an army of 150,000 soldiers that existed only on paper. And who did they put in command of this ghost army? The one general the Germans respected and feared above all others, George S. Patton. It was the perfect bait, and it was Garbo's job to sell it.
This wasn't just a paper exercise. They went all out to make this ghost army look real. German spy planes would fly over and see fields full of inflatable tanks and plywood landing craft. The airwaves were flooded with fake radio traffic from this massive, non-existent army. And all the while, Garbo and his network were feeding a constant stream of top-secret reports to the Germans about FUSAG's plans, while Allied bombers hammered Calais to really sell the whole thing.
Which brings us right back to where we started. It's now 3 days after D-Day. The Allied beachhead is about to break. Hitler, finally getting impatient, gives the order, send the panzers from Calais to Normandy and end this. This is it, the do-or-die moment for Garbo and the entire deception.
Right at this absolute crisis point, Garbo sends the most important message of his life. He radios his German contacts, basically yelling at them for being so foolish. He tells them, "Don't you see? Normandy is just a diversion. A big one, sure, but it's a trick to pull your best troops out of position before the real invasion hits Pas de Calais."
And the most incredible thing? They believed him. They absolutely believed him. The message shot all the way up the chain of command, right onto Hitler's desk. And Hitler himself, convinced that his most trusted spy was right, personally countermanded the order. He told the panzers to halt. Just like that, the tanks stopped. The Normandy beachhead was saved. I mean, the lie worked better than anyone could have possibly imagined. But the story of Juan Pujol García, Agent Garbo, doesn't end there. After the war, the man who fooled Hitler had one last trick up his sleeve, one final deception to pull off. Let's just pause for a second to appreciate the scale of this. Because of Garbo's lies, the Germans kept 2 whole armored divisions and an incredible 300,000 soldiers just sitting around Pas de Calais, waiting for an attack that was never, ever going to come. Those are the very troops that could have easily pushed the Allies right back into the sea.
And here's my favorite part, the ultimate irony. For his incredible work for Germany, Hitler awarded him the Iron Cross. The Nazis thought he was their best spy. And then, a little while later, the British made him a member of the British Empire for his actual work. He is the only person ever to be decorated by both sides in the Second World War. You just can't make this stuff up.
But think about it. The war ends. You're this guy who knows all these secrets, who has tricked the entire German high command. You're a pretty big target for any surviving Nazis looking for revenge. So what do? What becomes of the world's greatest double agent? You disappear. In 1949, with the help of MI5, he faked his own death. They put out a story that he died of malaria in Africa, and that was it. For almost 40 years, the world just assumed Agent Garbo was gone. Until 1984, when a historian, digging through old files, found him alive and well, running a little gift shop in Venezuela. He had pulled it off. He'd fooled everyone one last time.
Years later, after he was rediscovered, he went back to Normandy and visited one of the American cemeteries. Standing there, looking at all the graves, he got very emotional and said this: "It just shows you what kind of man he was. A humble man, an accidental hero. A chicken farmer from Spain who, with nothing more than his wits and his courage, saved thousands upon thousands of lives and really did help change the course of history. It proves that sometimes one person really can make all the difference."